Every night around 9 p.m., my grandmother's small kitchen light would glow. No one spoke, no TV played, only the ticking of the clock and the soft clink of a spoon in a cup of warm milk. She would sit quietly at the old wooden table, slice off a small piece of butter cake, the kind she had been baking by hand for over 20 years, and chew slowly like a sacred ritual. I often stood at the doorway watching her from behind. Her back slightly hunched hair, tied neatly, hands trembling gently as they held the cake. It was a picture of peace. She didn't eat much, just a small bite sometimes with half a cup of warm milk with honey. She'd say, just so my stomach doesn't feel empty before bed. And honestly, for many years I thought the same, that it was a harmless, sweet little habit, a way for her to still choose something of her own at the end of each day. Until I began to notice something. On the nights she had her usual snack, she couldn't sleep. Not right away. But like clockwork around 1 or 2 a.m., her bedroom light would turn back on, and she'd be awake again. At first, I thought it was just age, but slowly, I began to wonder, could that small, sweet moment, the one we all thought was comforting, actually be what's been quietly stealing her sleep all these years? That was when this story began. My grandmother was someone who lived with quiet discipline. Each morning, she took a slow walk around the neighborhood, never rushed, never late. She cooked every meal herself, lightly seasoned just enough for 2 people, never too much. No sleeping pills, no coffee, no scrolling on phones before bed. People would often say, "That's how an elder should live. She's doing it right." But only those of us in the family knew. Her sleep was far from peaceful. Some nights she'd sleep 2 hours and wake. Other nights she'd lie in bed past 2 a.m. before finally drifting off. She never complained, just smiled softly and said, "I'm old now. Sleep just isn't the same." At first, I believed her, that aging naturally came with restless nights. But over time, I started to feel something wasn't quite right. Because even if she'd accepted it, she'd still quietly turn on the light in the middle of the night to read her prayer book. Still sit alone in the dark for hours, hands folded. Her eyes weren't angry or sad, but they also didn't belong to someone who had truly rested. I began to observe more closely, and soon I noticed a consistent pattern. On nights when she had her small snack around 9 p.m., a slice of cake or sweetened milk, she almost always struggled to sleep. I had always thought a little night snack helped people rest. I'd seen plenty of advice online saying a small bite can help the stomach relax and ease you into sleep. But the deeper I looked, the more I discovered a truth rarely mentioned. After age 70, digestion slows significantly. Food consumed too late can confuse the body, make it think the day isn't over. Especially with sweet foods, blood sugar rises, the heart beats a little faster. Insulin kicks in, making the body more alert, not sleepy as we once believed. And sleep never begins on time. My grandmother didn't know that. She only knew if I don't eat, my belly feels empty. If I do eat, I can't sleep. That gentle loop, simple and familiar, was quietly holding her back. And one night, as I sat beside her while the house fell into silence, I found myself asking, what if the thing we thought was helping was actually fooling the body every single night? What if she wasn't losing sleep because of age, but because of a tiny piece of cake cut with all the care of an old belief? From that night on, I began searching for another way. Something soft, something kind, nothing drastic, but something that might just bring her sleep gently home. I began keeping track, not of anything complicated, just quiet notes each night. What time did Grandma eat? What exactly did she have? What did she do afterward? And how did she sleep that night? The results didn't surprise me, but seeing them clearly still startled me. Whenever she had a slice of butter cake or a cup of warm milk, With honey close to bedtime, she'd sleep for a while, then wake. Not because of nightmares, not from pain, just awake and unable to fall back asleep. I didn't want her to feel guilty or that I was watching too closely. So instead, I gently invited her to try something together. This week, how about we eat a little earlier? Maybe 8:30 instead of 9, and instead of cake tonight, how about a few almonds and a slice of banana? She smiled softly with a hint of resistance. It's been so long since I found something I still enjoy eating. And now you want me to stop? I didn't laugh. I just nodded and whispered, "We're not giving anything up. We're just trying 7 days. If it doesn't work, we go back." She agreed, not because she was convinced, but maybe because she wanted to give me a chance, just like I was trying to give her one more chance at a restful night. I made a small chart. Each day had 2 lines. What time did she eat? How many hours did she sleep? I gave her a green pen. I used red. Each morning, if she had slept through the night, she would mark a. At the same time, we replaced her evening snack ritual with a new kind of routine. Before 9 p.m., we tidied up the bed, not changing the sheets, just smoothing the blanket, flipping the pillow, like preparing a path for sleep to walk in. Then, we played soft instrumental music. We chose a track of Gentle Rain on a Tin Roof. It reminded her of the house I grew up in, where every rainstorm meant she'd sit quietly by the window, fingers moving over her prayer beads. Finally, we wrote down one thing she was grateful for. Not a full journal, just a sentence. Some nights she wrote, "Thankful for my youngest daughter's laugh on the phone today." Other nights, something as simple as glad the morning wasn't as cold as I thought. The first few nights, nothing remarkable happened. She still shifted in bed, still stirred a little, but on the 4th morning, she looked at me and said, "Last night I slept through until nearly 5. No dreams, no waking." I drew a red on our chart. She added a smiley face beside it with her green pen. By the 10th day, she turned the page on the chart and whispered, "I haven't woken up at 1 or 2 a.m. these past few nights. It's been so long since that's happened." I didn't need more proof. Because I saw it in her eyes, something I had feared was fading peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from giving up, but the kind that returns when you've reclaimed something you thought was gone forever, trust in your own body. These small rituals, as tiny as a spoon stirring milk, turned out to be the keys that opened the quiet door to sleep. And my grandmother, who once believed she'd be stuck with restless nights forever, began to relearn how to sleep, like a child gently rocked by the rhythm of her own breath. After walking through my grandmother's nightly habits, page by page, I came to believe something simple. Not everyone needs a dramatic change to sleep again. They just need a small one in the right place and gently done. The issue wasn't eating at night. It was eating too late. Eating the wrong things and not giving the body enough time to wind down. So together, Grandma and I created new guidelines. Not strict, not forced, just gentle signposts along an old path so she could walk it again without getting lost. 1. Eat earlier or choose foods that are easier to digest. After the first trial week, she began to eat her evening snack before 8 p.m. If she still felt a little hungry later, she'd reach for a few almonds, a slice of banana, or a spoonful of unsweetened yogurt. Gone were the butter cakes. Gone was the honey milk combo. In their place, a warm cup of chamomile tea set by a slightly open window, letting the night breeze drift in like a long exhale. She said at first it felt like something was missing, but now it feels lighter, not too full, not too worried. It's like eating and letting go at the same time. 2. Don't lie down right after eating. It seems obvious, but it's easy to overlook. Before Grandma would eat, then shower, then head straight to bed. Now she does it differently. After her light evening snack, she takes a 10-minute walk around the garden or just sits listening to instrumental music. Simple things, but enough to tell her body, the day is done. There's nothing left to do. Now it's time to rest. 3. Replace eating with a different form of comfort. One day I asked her, "Grandma, why did you always eat so late at night?" She paused, then said, "Because I felt empty." Eating made me feel warm again, but slowly we replaced that habit with 3 soft rituals: straightening the bed, listening to gentle rain sounds, writing down one thing she was satisfied with that day. These things didn't feel like restrictions. They felt like choices. She no longer lay in bed, wondering, will I sleep tonight? Instead, she thought, tonight, I've already calmed my heart. If sleep comes good, if not, I'm still okay. I remember one evening vividly. I peeked into her room to say goodnight. She was already lying on her side, breathing deeply. One hand rested softly on her belly. Her eyes were closed. The amber glow of the night lamp lit her face, and in that moment, I didn't see an 80-year-old woman. I saw someone fully mauense and in command of her evening, like a small queen peacefully reigning over her quiet castle. Sleep doesn't come from luck. It doesn't come from trying hard enough. It comes when you learn how to close a day with actions that are small but full of presence. If you're still awake and watching this from your usual chair in the quiet of your home, then perhaps, just like my grandmother, you've been holding on to a nightly habit for years. A little slice of cake, a warm sip of milk, something small that brings a bit of comfort before bed. And you're not wrong for wanting that, because for many elders, the night isn't just rest, it's a quiet space where old memories stir, where silence can feel heavier than it used to. That late night snack. It's never just about hunger. It's about control. It's about saying, this is mine. This moment is mine. But if you've done it for years and still find yourself lying awake at 1 a.m. staring at the ceiling, then maybe, just maybe, something is ready to shift. Not everything, not all at once, just a gentle change in timing. If you still want to eat before bed, go ahead. But try eating 30 minutes earlier, or choose something lighter. A slice of banana, a handful of almonds, a warm cup of chamomile tea unsweetened. And tonight, if you're open to one more tiny change, instead of reaching for cake, try reaching for a pen. Write down just one line from today. I called my daughter. The weather was kind, no heater needed. I listened to an old favorite song. Write it down, not to remember, but to close the day like gently shutting a book. To signal to your body, I am done for today. Now I am ready to rest. And if you try it, if tonight you sleep a little easier, I invite you to come back to this video and leave a note. You don't need to write much, just one line I tried and it helped. Or I've been like your grandmother. I will read it, and I believe others watching will read it too, because we all deserve better sleep. And sometimes all it takes is seeing someone else try first. My grandmother once believed she would never sleep well again, but she was wrong. All it took was placing a few small stones in the right place, and suddenly the path to sleep became smoother than it had been in years. You deserve that too, a night of rest. No struggle, no forcing, just a soft mind rocked to sleep by the gentleness you gave yourself.
Today, I called my daughter.